Of course, Donald Trump has jumped into the ring. He's been now the 12th Republican to enter the race for the White House, making it quite a crowded field. But no doubt an intriguing one with Mr. Trump in the running. Curtis Watkins is chairman of the Mecklenburg Republican branch, which is in North Carolina, and a political commentator for television station WCCB. Great to have you with us, Curtis. So finally, Donald has declared his hand. He's hinted at it. It was quite a dramatic entry. What did you make of it?
Well, I mean, it's certainly the Donald Trump style. He is definitely somebody who likes to make that kind of grand entrance. He definitely likes to make a big show out of it, and he's definitely been teasing up to it. So I think in the Republican Party, we've known for a while that he was certainly going to run, but now that it's official, it certainly makes things a lot more interesting.
Interesting. From the point of view of where he might sit amongst so many Republicans really trying to get the nomination, how do you think he's going to play out as they make their way around the country trying to get that nomination?
Well, he's certainly going to run a campaign where he is looking to be the antithesis of what you might expect from a normal presidential candidate. He's not going to have the same political rhetoric. He's not going to have the same speech. He's going to be somebody that is more than willing to call out his opponents, not only on the Democratic side, but also on the Republican side. And so he's definitely going to bring a very loud voice and a very brash kind of point of view, which to some people I think might be kind of refreshing.
What about, though, declaring how wealthy he is? Some of the statements he made earlier, some people might have found quite odd and, and perhaps a little unrealistic, like building a wall between Mexico and the US.
Well, if there's one thing we know about Donald Trump, it's that, having big, audacious goals is something that he is certainly well known for doing. Whether or not he's able to achieve those things, I think he has a long time to go in this campaign in order to really build out a plan that people look at and say, okay, maybe he's actually not just saying that. Maybe this is something that he can do. But he's really got to build that message. I mean, this is one of the things I think that Donald will have to walk throughout his campaign, which is it's one thing to be the guy out there who's saying all these big, audacious things and having all these, grand statements. It's another thing to be perceived as presidential. And this is one of the lines that he's really going to have to learn how to walk very fine throughout this campaign, and we'll see how he does.
Yeah, great point that you make there. Has there been any response from some of the other Republican contenders out there, like a Jeb Bush?
Nobody's really weighed so much in on Donald specifically. I think at this point, a lot of the campaigns are really just focused on what they can do in order to stand out in a very crowded field. I mean, that's really the hard part. And so far, the only one that's really kind of gone after the other candidates actually seems to have been Donald Trump. This is one of the things that he's going to make a cornerstone of his campaign, which is to viciously attack and go after the opponents and make it seem like, look, here's how I really stand out. So that's his method. That's the way that he's going with it. But I haven't really seen any of the other candidates do it all that much
yet.
Yeah.
In terms of course, we've heard Jon Stewart come out and say, thanks, Donald, it's going to make my life a lot easier in the last 6 weeks that he is in his satirical job. Apart from the humour and the hair and all, and the size of the man, has he got a chance to win, do you think? Could he present an alternative so dramatic that people might buy it?
Well, look, we know anything can happen inside of a presidential campaign. I think right now most people would say it's probably a long shot, but anything's possible. I mean, we have to see how things go. It's still very early. A lot of things can happen on the campaign trail. There really haven't been any true defining moments, so to speak. So, until we see some of more of that start to play out and see how some of the debates go and some other things, I mean, it's possible he could certainly surprise everybody. If he comes into some of the debates and he does really, really well and he gets people really fired up, he could get a lot of people behind him. And so it's still early to say. Right now, we aren't really sure, but, anything's possible. It is politics.
As we say, anything's possible in America. Thanks so much, Curtis. Good to talk.
Thank you very much.